X-rated Snoop Dogg lines.
No.
Hi guys, Oily here. We have a great panel tonight, and we want to hear your opinions and the way you do things, because everybody does things differently. So, want you to be part of the conversation. We have the Oklahoma Prepper, Wave, Squib there with the gun thing going on, and Hawaii Volcano Squad. There's links to all their channels except for Squib. After this is over, I'll put a link to his channel as well so that you can see that. Everybody is doing well tonight. Hey, Jared. Welcome. Hi, Rain. I have okay. Let me see who else is out there. We got Mom Slayer out there. Passions. She pops in and out because she chat surfs. So, tonight we're talking about layers of food storage, and have you, Jared? We're talking about food storage. Before we get started, I do want to say a very happy birthday to my good friend and my YouTube love, Chad from he's a fat man and he does knives and stuff like that. And I just want to wish him a very love you, man. Okay, let's see. Still, I can hear it in the background. Let me make sure my volume stayed. Mine's still muted.
Mine is as well. I can't see the side chat in YouTube for whatever reason. YouTube doesn't want to let me see it.
It's still not letting you now? That's so frustrating.
Nope. Yeah, that's all right.
That is weird.
It won't stop me from talking.
Something directed at you, I'll let you know.
Unless it's ugly. Don't share that.
Ugly stuff.
Okay.
Blocking it for being mean. I don't mess with that stuff. I slay those trolls quicker than they can blink, let me tell you. Anyway, so last week I assigned homework for everybody. 3 things that you have done this week for prepping. So everybody in the external be typing in things that you've done this week for prepping, no matter what it is. And I'll let the Oklahoma Prepper get started and share what he's done this week.
Well, what's up, everybody? It's the Oklahoma Prepper, and thanks for checking out this chat. I didn't study for this exam. So, let me explain to you what I did do this week. I managed to wake up a couple of times. Did get some sleep in. First of all, I want to apologize because today is kind of a little bit weird. We've had an incident here in town, and unfortunately the incident was like literally a block away from me. Like I could see the house that all this happened at in the pasture. But that is, I'll have my radio on, so I'll be listening in on that because there was a shooting. So prepping wise,
oh wow,
this week, really what I did is kind of reorganize my bug out bag and started kind of making sure that I have everything set up and everything ready to go, and everything where I needed it. Because one of the biggest things that one of the biggest problems a lot of people have is they go out and get all this equipment and this bug out gear and stuff like that, and they just put it together and put it in the corner until something happens. And my suggestion, guys, is don't do that. Once you get something, it's not gonna hurt to take it out and play with it, learn how to use it, practice with it. By the time something happens, you're ready to go. You know exactly what you're gonna do. You know how your equipment's gonna work. So
I'm gonna have to try that line in the future. It's not gonna hurt to take it out and play with it.
No, don't. Okay, we're dying now.
But, like I said, guys, take your equipment out, practice with it, work with it. Start fires with your ferro rods. set up your tent or bug out bag or whatever it is you guys have. Um, it's just work with your equipment. Basically, learn how to use it. If you guys don't know how to use it and bought it, that's fine. There's YouTube. I've got videos on how to use stuff, how to do stuff. If you guys do not know what to do with your equipment, look it up on YouTube. There's no shame in that at all. That's exactly why I put videos up, is to teach you guys how to use your equipment and what equipment, whatever equipment you have, what can be done with it and all the possibilities that you have. Like I said last chat, you don't have to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on bug out gear or survival equipment. You don't have to spend any money on it if you know how to use your equipment, if you know how to improvise and overcome. So I that's one of the biggest things that I do on a regular basis. I take down my bug out bag, I go through it, I check to make sure everything's still good, everything is still where it needs to be, make sure that I get myself familiar with it. So, and that's, like I said, I didn't really do too much homework, but that is probably one of the most important things you can do is go through your equipment and make sure you know what is there and how it works. And if something, is expired,
Well, absolutely.
yeah, if something's expired, you're not going to think, whenever you're out on a bug out situation that, oh man, I forgot to change this out. I didn't know this was expired. That's why you go through and look at your equipment. That's why you go through.
Yeah, I think it's important when every season's coming up to pull your bag out, go through everything for the season, make
Spring
sure
cleaning.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you do your fire detector batteries twice a year when the time changes. At least do it that often, if not a little more. Okay, anything else on the homework, Oklahoma Prepper?
That's about it. I mean, just practice with your equipment. Take it out and use it. Learn how to use it. Figure it out. So that's about it on that end right now.
Sounds good to me. All right, Mouse, how about you?
Oh, I have an exciting thing that I did. I got one of those lovely 10 for 10 pasta sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I put them in Mylar bags with some oxygen absorbers. How exciting is that?
Awesome.
Right? And the other thing is one of those we things, which of course is the proverbial we, as in the husband, which is spreading horse manure in our vegetable garden that a friend was kind enough to drop off in these big black bags. And the other one was cleaning the funk, and I mean funk, like algae funk. You could whip that out and play with it. You could make a necklace of it, of our rain barrels, to get them ready for water in our garden. So that's my 3. I did my homework, Oklahoma.
Woo! The reason why we decided on the 3 was because, survival kind of comes in rules of 3. We kind of do it with the rules of 3. 3 seconds without hope, 3 minutes without air, 3 hours in inclement weather without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. So that's kind of why. So. Anyway.
And Lisa 3, leave them be.
Yes.
That is actually
all right, Squib, how about you? Squib wasn't in on this last week on the chat, so if he just did 1 or 2 things, we'll let him slide this week because this homework.
I'm gonna guess.
Oh, I was in a text chat on the side, so.
Yes.
All right, we're going to start off with one. I'm gonna need your help, HPS. Okay, so you're the one who told me about those Israeli bandages, and I got one of those. I don't know, like a month or 2 ago.
Okay,
so
what
I decided
size?
to order a second one, and it came from Israel, but it was made in I don't know, 4-inch hemorrhage control bandage.
Ooh.
It came directly
4
from
inches.
Israel, but it was made in England. What's up with that? Yeah.
Those British.
So I guess I have my second Israeli-esque.
Israeli-esque.
I don't know.
But it's really a British.
So there's one.
A British bandage that wants to be Jewish.
Yeah, it came from Israel. Yeah, but it's really British.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I got.
Well, since Israel isn't in the EU, they.
Pantry, Franklin's Finest Coffee.
You got coffee from where?
I think there's a lag on my side, on my end.
Okay, you got coffee from where though?
Some place called Patriot Pantry. I guess they're like Wise Foods or Mountain House.
Yeah, they advertise on the internet. I mean, I've heard of them.
Coffee. It's just instant coffee, but it's. Yeah, I decided to get some freeze-dried instant coffee because I have to have coffee no matter what. I don't care if I have to drink it cold, but I gotta have coffee. I'll trade ammo and wine for coffee.
I don't know if I consider instant. I don't know if I consider instant.
Side,
I don't know if I consider instant coffee. I need whole beans that I just ground.
It's coffee. It's life. It's coffee.
But
in
wait a
any
minute.
form.
in the zombie apocalypse.
Well, this is Kona.
Yeah.
So I'll just raid a coffee farm.
Yeah,
in Brazil? In Brazil?
Yeah. Yeah, you have all the pineapples and coffee you're ever going to want.
Go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
So, and then I guess the next thing would be, I got some 44 Magnum bullets for reloading. I got 500 of them. I had a buddy who bought a box of these for Y2K, and he's been sitting on them. Yep, and he's like, "Hey man, you want these?" Yeah, I've got 44 Magnum casings. I've done up a batch of 44 specials already, but so yeah, I got I've got other ones, but they're only in 100 packs or 250 packs. So this is 500. So he gave me a deal on that. I bought that off of him. And then, would you consider doing repair work to your bug out vehicle prepping?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Repair.
Okay, well then, all right. Then my 1-ton 4-wheel drive my 1-ton 4-wheel drive pickup truck. I just sunk a bunch of money into that, and it's riding a heck of a lot better. So when I have to drive over the top of things to get my family out, it'll work. And then my 16-year-old decided, he asked me if I could open up the gun safe and get out his throwing knives. He was in the backyard practicing. So
awesome.
There, that's all my preps for the week.
You win homework, hands down, winning.
Yeah.
You are the man.
Yeah. Okay, Hawaii. What about you?
No. See, I'll get extra credit on the first one, then I'll flunk the next 4.
I broke Oklahoma Preppers rule and I just bought stuff.
Did you take it out? Did you take it out and play with it?
Not yet, because it's not here yet. I just ordered it on the internet.
Okay. Well, when it gets here, you need to take it out and play with it.
You can tell me. Yeah, I got a bench. I got my first ever Benchmade knife. I ordered it. If the fat man is out there, I'm sure he'll appreciate that. It's the Diamond Wood Fixed Blade Hunter S30V Crucible Particle Metallurgy Steel, Super Steel, and so another blade to my crazy knife collection. Never enough blades. And what else did I do? Oh, got a couple of Fresnel lenses. Add to my fire making kit and my wallet, and I bought an NRA wallet with an RFID, scanning, blocking.
Yeah, the protection thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because I got an email from the NRA about a store, and they had one, and my wallet is like, I bought it when I was 13 years old at like Nordstrom's or something. It's this leather wallet, and it's just seen better days. And it was like, and the NRA, had like a really good wallet in their store, and it was freaking awesome. Plus, it had the RFID protection, and so I got a Fresnel lens to put in it from somewhere else, and it's like a 4 times magnifying Fresnel lens.
HPS.
What's that?
HPS.
Yes, sir.
Fresnel. It's a French word.
Well, that's why I got
They
it
had
wrong.
to
Who
silence
cares?
Fresnel.
You know, if they vote
I always
for
I'm in the
Macron,
state with the most. I'm in the state with the most lighthouses.
He's
Well,
So
trying
I
to
know all
share
about
his
Fresnel
knowledge.
lenses. We've got lots of them in Michigan. We've got more lighthouses here than any other state.
Right.
what does that have to do with
I still
France?
call it a Fresnel lens.
I know how to say some dirty things in French, but this is supposed
Because
to be a
Fresnel
chat.
lenses
No,
originally came from
no,
France.
this is a nice chat. We're not even going to talk
Yes.
about bringing stuff out and playing with it anymore, okay?
Oh, now you got everybody in trouble. I hope
Okay,
you're
I got-
happy, Oklahoma.
I got
hope
my
you're
gun
proud.
safe. I got my gun safe, and it took me I ordered it 8 months ago when it finally got here, and then I borrowed a hand truck from the condo manager and hauled it up the stairs. I think it was right before Monday's chat that I do on gun channels and lock and load on Monday, and then basically I hauled it up there. It was 4 flights of stairs, and then with the hand truck, and then I had to lift it up the last flight of stairs inside my condo, and then I didn't even take it out of the box until the next day because I was so fucking tired. I mean, anyway, so I got all my guns in there. Oh shit, I used a bad word. Damn.
Oh, geez.
I'm going to have to mute you if you
Well, I'm just trying to say what I did, but anyway, okay.
I know.
I think he was trying to count that as exercise.
Yes, that's
Yes.
exactly what that was. Physical
It is
training.
Physical training. Well, so yeah, basically I filled out the little the owner's manual for it. It's a gun vault, gunvault.com, a tack vault. It's like a little closet vault. Weighs about 80 pounds before you put guns in it, and it's 14 gauge steel around the body, 12 gauge on the door, and it's got an electronic like a round numbers lock. You just type in the numbers you want to be the code, and then it'll open, and it's just a little deep, not a D, but one of those square batteries, inside it. So it's a pretty good one. It's not like one of those cheap. It's not a cheap one. It's a pretty good one. I think whatever it ran out here, he sold it to me for $450, and it took me 8 months of waiting to get it out here in Hawaii. And basically, I think he I don't know if he got it directly through Davidson. He's a Davidson Arms, gun shop distributor, but since I waited so long for it, I think he gave me a discount, but whatever. It's a pretty good lock. It's called the Tack Vault, and so I, loaded. It's supposed to only hold 2 long guns and a shelf for, pistols or other stuff, but I got 3 in there, and I might be able to squeeze my AK also in there, which I'm still cleaning it. I'm doing work on it, so I haven't even tried to put the AK in there yet. But right now I've got the Tavor, my Benelli Supernova shotgun, and my CZ527 in there, and all my handguns except for the Glock, which I basically, the Glock is right by my, couch thing that I crash on. So if somebody busts into my house in the middle of the night, tries to do evil things, I could give them some sort of an argument. But everything else is locked up. So basically, the main reason for that is if I'm not here, I just wanted my guns to be a little harder to get to, so it could be just some bad person couldn't just kick the door in and take all my guns. So they're locked up, and it's a little closet safe, and it's a pretty good one. It's called the Tack Vault from gunvault.com, and and it's basically it's put together pretty well. They say it can't be pried apart with hand tools, because it's the way they put it together. I have no idea if you can get through a 14 gauge steel with if you have power tools or a circular saw or something like that. But with the guns in it, it's basically the safe by itself is 80 pounds. So walking with it upstairs takes a little bit of energy. But I think if with the guns in it, it weighs more to try and carry it away. Because I'm probably gonna be selling my condo, so I didn't secure it. It comes pre-drilled to like hook it up to with a hole to hook it up to bolt it down into like against a stud. But since I'm
Right.
like selling my condo, I didn't want to start drilling holes and stuff through that. It's I have some place to put it, so if a broker's showing prospective buyers through here, can have all my guns in there and keep honest people honest.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so that, and of course I got some of this gefilte fish that I was saying in the pre-chat for food. One of my food layers. It's like a Yiddish Jewish Manischewitz gefilte fish, and I bought it like in March, and it's I bought it in April actually, and it's good until March 2020. So, and this is like April 2017. So it's got a decent shelf life, and it's a traditional Jewish kind of food. It's kosher, but basically you just get some red horseradish, and it's basically a pollock. What did I say? It was pollock, mullet, egg whites, and like matzah meal, and it's all pre-cooked, and it comes with gelled. It's like in a gelled chicken broth with carrots and other vegetables in there, but basically it's one of those traditional Yiddish kind of foods, and it's got a decent amount of protein, and it just has. You don't need to refrigerate it. I serve it cold, but you don't need to refrigerate it, and it'll has a pretty long shelf life for fish, but because it's cooked, and it has some, preservative of some type in there. Just that and some, protein bars. It's about all my prepping.
Well, awesome. Sounds like quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, more weight this week, another 6 pounds. So I did that, trying to get my body prepped, and got some of this silver solution. It's like Silvadine burns. The silver antimicrobe. I'm trying to get it to where it'll show up better, but the light is glaring. Microbial salve, or it's a gel actually. So what I'm trying to do, I didn't have a lot of stuff for burns besides essential oils. So like the week before I got burn gel, because that's pretty cooling. Of course, I do have aloe vera plant, so I have that. And then I got this Safe Tech burn ointment, cream, I guess is what it is. So I've about got my stuff for burns taken care of. And then I acquired some fruit trees, got those in this week, and I've got them soaking in the roots soaking because they were dormant. So I've got them soaking in.
What kind?
I've got a multi kind of pear, apple, and got some muscadine grape plants in.
Dwarf trees? Are they dwarf trees or full size?
They're dwarf.
Okay, yeah, those are easier to manage, but they put out a lot of fruit. Just because they're dwarf doesn't mean they don't put out, major fruits.
Right, exactly. And for our area, I really needed more dwarf because I need more towards the fruit than the actual tree itself. You know what I mean? The wood part of the tree, because we have a sandy soil, so it drains off. And so, if the roots don't get that water before it's gone, they tend to dry out real easy is what I'm saying. And we have a real high hot wind here that acts like a convection oven. So I wanted dwarf, and it has multi types grafted on one tree. So I'll have several different kinds of pears. I think there's 5 different pears on one, 5 different apples on another, and then seems like I think we've got a peach also with different kinds of peaches on it. So those, and then I have 2 muscadine grape.
And you planted all that?
No, I've got them soaking right now. They came in. I've got them soaking. Though, so I had to let them.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Hey, real quick.
24. Oh no, it won't.
I've got to get off here for a minute. They're fixing to execute that warrant they've got like there's cops with ARs everywhere. So I've got to get out of here.
Okay.
Well, you
So-
should
All right.
pretty
Just be
safe.
careful.
Yeah, be safe.
Yeah.
But you should be safe if there's a lot of police without ARs. It's got to be the
Yeah,
safest
well,
Yeah.
place.
Just be careful.
They still don't know where this guy's at, so there's no telling. But I'll be back as soon as possible. All right, guys, I'm out.
Okay.
Yep.
All
Keep
right.
your head down.
So I've done that, and I also have gone through, for extra bonus points, I've been going through my a lot of my stuff, like my medical stuff. I'm trying to get things a little more organized that way. Like you can see behind me, let me see, I got to get back over to the internal screen so I can see what I'm pointing at here. But behind me, all of those stubbies that go all the way up, that's medical and bushcraft and all kinds of stuff. But I still have probably another larger tubs that with the purple right there handles that I've got to.
Gear. That's all gear storage and stuff in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all of that is up there.
Well, I have a bachelor pad, so I just have like knives. Before I got my gun safe, I had guns and knives and ammo just spread all over my condo. Now it's getting better organized.
Everywhere, and that's what I'm trying to do. I've got a couple of girls that are coming in. We're going through room by room, sorting everything out, getting the gear to where it can gear all safe. Other than I do have, like I have my medical bag here that has like my blood pressure cuff and my deal to check ears and noses and stuff like that, and my stethoscope and all of that, because I was a CNA, so I have all of that and know how to use it. My doctor's bag, so to speak, and then but I have other medical stuff just strewn around everywhere. I do have a first aid kit that I keep down, and then I have larger stuff like that back there, and gloves and stuff like that back through there. So anyway, so we've been working on that as well. So that's kind of bonus points going through my stuff, weeding out stuff that we don't need anymore to make room for stuff that we do. So been working on that.
That is great.
Anyway, so all right, well, let's get to our topic. I want to try to stay as close on track as I can to keeping the time, since I do have company out there that I've like 50 people out in my barn right now. So I want to make
50 people.
Hunters came from Louisiana. They come every year. They do turkey hunting, and they've been promising to bring crawfish for about the past 5 or 6 years, and they keep forgetting. Bringing them is a massive ice chest full of about 75 pounds worth of crawfish. So we're having an impromptu crawfish boil out there, but since this was the second week to do this, I didn't want to put this chat off. So
I hope they brought some hot sauce or something.
brought all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's a full-on crawfish boil out there, and all their treats. So we're just going to go out and have some fun. But so I want to keep this as, close as I can to the time allotted.
So what were you, when you were talking about food and layering, I wasn't exactly sure what you were talking about by layers of food. I mean,
well, we'll kind of go, okay. So layer one, if you look at it, layer one are things like stuff you have normally stored in your pantry, your refrigerator, your freezer. This is stuff you use every day. Your fresh produce, your, eats, the breads, the, normal canned goods that you use to make your meals with, things like that. So that's layer one. In layer one, we have in our home about 3 months worth. We probably have a year's worth of meat, because it's been a half a beef back in November or December, I think is when we finally got it. So our freezer was full of that, and then my father-in-law just butchered a bull, so we got another 100 pounds of hamburger meat in from him recently. So it's really great. And now I do need to supplement that with chicken and whatever else I want to for variety, but gigantic freezers full. So our meat that way, as long as the electric stays on or is good, and that meat stays
Do you
good.
have a backup generator of some kind in case? It
Yeah,
goes out?
we have two. We have two
Okay.
generators.
Great, awesome.
We keep fuel going in them with stable in it, so we have that, and then of course our canned goods and pantry, pastas, things like that. It's just stuff that you everyday items. Do you have anything to add to that as far as their everyday stuff on that first food layer that I missed?
I liked it because the way you explained it of basic things in your pantry, because that's flour, mayonnaise, mustard,
Oh, yes.
breadcrumbs.
Just
You need to make a sandwich. You got some eggs, right? I like the way you explained that, so I think that covered it real well.
I'm glad you said that. I mean, that includes your seasonings. That includes, everything to make a whole meal as far as seasonings, breadcrumbs for breading things, just all of the above. Cereals, whatever it is that you eat. And then the second part, the second layer, if you look at that, those are things that store longer, 5 to 10 years. Things like hydrated foods. These are things that may or may not be stored in long-term packaging like Mylar bags or vacuum sealed, things like that. Things that don't require refrigeration. So you're looking at, rice and oats, beans, dry beans, lentils, things like that, that they're not always things that you necessarily eat all the time, but they're good shelf-stable items that are going to last, especially if you store them properly.
Mountain House Foods and Campbell's Chunky Soup is like a,
yeah. You can include a lot of like ready-made meals, like the Campbell's Chunky Soups, things that are pre-made that you don't necessarily have to have a way to cook them.
Right. Tuna fish in a can, chicken in a can.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got tons of that stuff.
And Mouse Toes does a lot with this. I mean, she cans all the time. She cans chicken, she cans stews, and just all kinds of vegetables, just most anything, she cans. So I'm
hungry. I'm hungry. I like to eat.
Oily, you're going to be like barbecuing every day if there's an apocalypse. Where's the beef is going to be in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I'm going to can, and this is the thing, is if say there was an EMP, I'm not expecting one, but say there was one, we have a smoker, we can smoke, we can preserve it with salt, we can dehydrate, and we can also can a lot of that. So, we may not be able to save all of the meat, but we can get a lot of it taken care of rather quickly, all at the same time. So,
yes.
That's beneficial that way. We have a friend that has a massive smoker too that we could use if we needed to.
I think I saw somebody did a video with an offset smoker, which is basically like a barbecue, except the coal and it's like a coal and wood, burning. It's like on the side, and then it's got a damper on that, and then the heat goes into the main barbecuing area, which has another damper on top, so that you control the temperature with how much oxygen you let in. It was an interesting, because I mean I'm used to our propane barbecues, the modern technology version of it, but if it's just when you run out of that stuff, it's easier to find wood, when if there's no place to refill propane anymore.
Exactly.
Those look cool.
So that's the second layer. Two ways that you can take care of it, but Mouse Toes, as far as canning, if somebody wants to learn how to can, she has 2 videos. I've linked them in the description box, how to water bath can and how to pressure can. So she's very great at giving very basic instructions for people who don't necessarily, or whatever. She just, like she said, she does it knuckle dragging. She's very, her instructions, and that's who I learned from. So, excuse me. So she has 2 great videos there. Pressure bath, or pressure bath. You can't water bath can everything. So it depends what it is. So you need to make sure you know what you're supposed to be canning in water and in pressure canning. So
Yeah.
okay, and see what else do we have here. Okay, so then the third layer is things that has at a very extensive shelf life. So on the second layer, I have 3 months worth of food in the second layer. Then in the third layer, this is going to be freeze-dried food that's packaged in Mylar bags or number 10 cans, things that can have up to a 25-year shelf life. Things that are packaged correctly it can still include stuff from your other layers, like your beans, your oats, like that, but it's packaged in a way that keeps all of the oxygen out, all of the moisture out. So with oxygen absorbers in Mylar bags or vacuum sealed, however you need to do it, dry place to keep everything out. And we've probably got another at least 4 or 5 months worth of that on hand. Thrive Life. I love Thrive Life foods because they don't add additives to their stuff. It's very, I know Mouse Toes, I've seen her have some of that stuff.
Do you have seeds and stuff like, renewable stuff like,
I do have some seeds, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about. There's other things that you need to do, but before we get started or finish that third layer up, is there anything anybody wants to add that would go into that third layer?
I liked when you were talking about Thrive, because I have like sour cream powder, powdered milk, instant milk, because one is for baking, one is for drinking. And those things to me are as important as the meats I have canned, because how am I going to make like a milk gravy? You know what I'm saying? How am I going to bake a cake? I'm planning on thriving, not surviving. I don't want to start eating garbage, right, or unhealthy foods and trying to get my garden to produce and exerting a lot of energy eating a bunch of processed foods. And so I think those things are really important. Just like beans are a great side.
One
You know
thing
what I
that
mean?
grows
For anything.
one thing that grows here in Hawaii that we have a lot of that you can fry up that's really good apparently, because I've been binge watching pepper videos lately, and I saw one tropical survival one, and they I forget what the channel was, but basically they take breadfruit, they're really big, and you chop them up and you fry them, and they taste like French fries. Apparently, I've had breadfruit. It's called ulu here in Hawaii, but it wasn't made fried up. It was like it had some kind of sweet milk gravy, and it was great. But there's a lot of ways you can cook it, and I saw a few, and in Hawaii, it's just all over the place in the jungle if you go looking for it, and you can live off that stuff, So that's one local fruit that you can gather around here, and there's plenty of there's tons of wild boar, if you can hunt in the jungle, but
I'll
they
pass
usually
on getting gored. But thanks for thinking of me on the wild boar. Okay.
We have tons of wild boar here too, and if I'm starving, I'm going to go find one of them.
Right.
Yeah, well, I won't get gored if I have a rifle and the boar just has tusks. I think I got a slight advantage. The only problem is they come out at night, so I don't have night vision yet. So that's definitely on my to-do list, because the boar are nocturnal mostly. They don't come out during the day. So.
And they're ugly and they stink.
Yeah, they do.
Well, that's what barbecue sauce is for. So, but you have to clean them, obviously.
I think one of the things to do is part of my knuckle dragon food storage, and I have it in that meats that I can video, is I've got this pint of chicken. What would I do with it? Okay, so I'd have some pasta. Am I just going to warm up the chicken, make the bow tie pasta, and I'm going to chunk it on there. How am I going to make a gravy for it? How am I going to make a curry sauce? So I literally would just put little things around it. Okay, I could add a thing of toxic Campbell's cream of chicken soup. It's not good for you, but it makes me happy. So get off my tail about it. Cream of mushroom and celery too. I eat that. Okay.
Why you say it's toxic? I mean, I just had Campbell's chunky chicken noodle soup for dinner, and I'm not dead.
I'm talking about, you got to focus. I said cream of chicken, right? Cream of celery, cream of mushroom. It's a processed food. So anyway, it's not good for you. But yeah, I have those soups also. But to actually put together and go, okay, really, I need 6 parts of this. And when we're not able to go to the store and hit another 10 for $5 sale, how many could we make with our pints of chicken? How many pastas do we have in Mylar? How many spices do we have for a backup? Or what are we growing? Parsley or tarragon or whatever. And that's why we knuckle drag it out, because we take for granted what's sitting in our refrigerator, like a mayonnaise and 5 backup, a mustard and 5 backup. What happens when we start flowing through those backups? What are our alternatives to either use a powder of our own or a friend with eggs and enough oil on hand to make our own mayonnaise, or mayonnaise as we call it in New Orleans? So that's why I call it knuckle dragging, pairing up a whole meal, including what would be your spices to look at.
Exactly.
It makes you think that cooking will be a barterable trading item, especially because most people will run out of food and die if they don't have anything to barter for it. I mean,
and people need to practice. People need to practice actually cooking with their home good preps. With the dehydrated food, with the freeze-dried food, because you need to know how to use it. It's just like your guns and your radios and all of that stuff. You need to know how to use it properly.
I know how to use Campbell's soup cans.
But here's a good channel, Oily. It's Tiny House Prepper, which is and they're a Thrive distributor. She does the most outstanding videos on how, like, when they go camping, she brings an envelope that has her Thrive already in it. I mean, an envelope, a Ziploc bag or a Tupperware, and she makes a stew right there in a thermos. I've never had anybody give such concise videos, because that's what I used to practice. Okay, I use too much sour cream powder. I'd rather learn now than when I'm wasting it,
Exactly, because you don't want to be wasting that stuff. And so that's mainly all that they eat is their Thrive food. Like, they don't purchase other kind of groceries anymore, like canned goods and stuff. They don't purchase that stuff anymore. They have them in the pantry cans and the number 10 cans. They're Thrive foods that they get. I wanted to tell you guys something. Like, when you're taking inventory on your food, what you really need to do, and I don't have that sheet for the calorie count so I might have to just use it as a screenshot on this Prepper's Powwow or something later, and that way you guys can see what the recommended calories are for. But the lower end is going to be for somebody who's sedentary, who isn't doing anything or not very active at all. And then the higher end is going to be probably more in a prepper situation. You're going to be doing a lot more. You're going to be hauling water, chopping firewood, which a lot of you do that anyways, but a necessity. There's a lot of people that are going to be doing stuff they're not used to doing. Chopping firewood, getting kindling, going out and foraging for food, gardening, things like that. So you want to keep a track of your preps. And here's something I did. I'm just kind of showing you. I found a form online, but I can't find it. But it just has a blank, and then you just put what item it is, and then it has little squares. And so whenever you have the item, you do your count. Say you have item, then you're going to take and draw one diagonal line on the boxes, showing that each diagonal line represents one of your preps. When you open it up, say it's a freeze-dried can, like, you can do a half of the line like this. That you have a can, but it's open. But when you completely use that can up, just completely exit out. Or if it's a canned good, you just completely exit out whenever you're taking out of your pantry. That way you always have an accurate count of how many. So
I don't think I could be that organized. It's it's just,
you
I
can
mean,
you can use that for any of your preps. It can be tarps or wool blankets or flashlights or sets of batteries or whatever the case is. You know, you can use that in your preps, and it really just depends how organized you want to be. But it's good to know what you have to be able to go through and itemize your stuff and see what you're lacking, because when you have it all written down, you can see, like I saw, like with my first aid stuff, I have a lot of bandages, I have gloves, I have stuff to disinfect, but I didn't have a lot in the way of burn. So that's what I'm.
if I was your neighbor, Oily, I would show up at your house once every day after the apocalypse with like A1 steak sauce and trade for food.
She's gonna shoot you in the driveway. We're popping a cap in you in the driveway.
Wait, I can't barter for trade what? I can't barter steak sauce? I mean, how much steak sauce do you have? You have like 2 cows. You can't possibly have that much steak sauce. I mean, it's a barter. You don't shoot people that just show up to barter.
I'll tell you why that's important. That list you had was before we built this house and a big pantry for the canning jars. I literally had in my closet, under, like, you have your shirts at the top and your skirts, right? Your little 2 layers. I had like my ball jars under there. In my husband, his was tomato sauce. Under the guest room bed was all my meats, because I didn't have any shelves strong enough to hold all my jars. So I had to keep a list like Oily had, because I'd be like, okay, I need diced tomatoes. I could have spent 45 minutes looking for them, you know, sliding out the little ball boxes to find the jar with those in it. Now I still do the same thing, so that every time I take one out and I finally go, okay, then it tells me when I need to make more beef broth or beef stock or bone broth or chicken stock, or look for another, chicken breast on sale or something. But a little bit of organization will keep you from going hungry.
Here's that form. I don't know if you can see it very well. This is an old form.
Oh.
But you can see how it's got the check boxes. And so when I'd pull one out, I would exit out. That's all my canned goods there. I have similar ones, exact same ones, for my pantry cans, which are the smaller cans, not the number 10 cans. And then my number 10 cans, longer term food storage. And so, yeah, it makes it really easy to be able to see. When I put it down on paper, I realized, but when I was lacking. So it really helps.
Actually, it probably does help in that regard, because I did the same thing with ammunition, and I figured out what ammos I had plenty of and what I was still, really didn't have enough of. But it took like all day to make a list. It took actually multiple days to finish.
Yeah, but it's well worth the time. And you can just white out the pantry inventory up at the top. And I'll tell you where I got this. I got it for free from scatteredsquirrel.com. Scatteredsquirrel.com.
That's interesting.
Yep. And love it. I absolutely, this is my favorite of all of the ones that I looked through tons. I mean, I spent hours looking at them, and that's my favorite sheet right there. I like it. It's just real simple. And then I just do that many slashes, and then when I take one out, put an X through that slash, so it made an X. So
I'm not that organized. My organization is I have like sections of my condo that are organized, and I have sections of my condo that are just sheer chaos. So.
Okay, so real quick, we've got about not even 15 minutes to discuss what are the ways to build your food preps for whatever level it is, besides just ordering stuff like Thrive Life. What else? I'm gonna let y'all talk, but what else besides like foraging or gardening? What can you do? Your food preps.
Couponing is one, not extreme couponing where you go get 350, toothbrushes.
Yeah.
But you can get those instant tater envelopes when they have one of those 10 for 5 sales. You can then
Yes.
pour them into an old, say, Maxwell House plastic container, right? After freezing them to kill any bugs, put directions on it. Lots of cream of mushroom soup, cream of celery, tuna fish, canned chicken. There is great canned hams that you can get, those type things. Flour, sugar. What are you going to drink? Right?
Mhm.
You're going to get tired of water. Have some little lemonade or lots of lemon juice, not from concentrate, but the real lemon that you can squirt in water. Or for your kids, have a little bit of Kool-Aid, not where you're putting a cup of sugar in it, but lots of different things that way of sale items that you can use like that to build up your pantry. But flour, sugar, baking soda, all those things go on cyclical sales.
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah, Costco has all kinds of canned stuff. I mean, it's just like another run through Costco. I think people have been doing Costco prepper runs, and it's like they have so much stuff. You could buy a ton of rice there, and not to mention spam. And I mean, I can't eat spam, but a lot of people do. And canned beef, canned chicken, canned tuna, canned everything. Canned vegetables. Gigantic. Coffee mate, things that'll store, and if you have coffee and you like cream in it, but it's going to be hard to find half and half. So it's nice to have something else, for that.
Absolutely.
And Lee just asked, what about shelf life? And to me, like Squib was saying in the comments, that's a suggestion. If the can is not compromised, if it's not bulging, it's good. You know what I mean? Whether it's potato, I'm not sure I'd go too far on clam soup. Okay, something squirrely like that. But you would also know if it were funky. And with the exception of brown rice, white rice, I freeze mine first. Then I let it dry out. I want to kill any critters in it. Then I pour it into 5 gallons with the Gamma lid, buckets with that food grade bucket, or I don't use food grade and use the big Mylar bags in it. But brown rice does go bad. But white rice is for keeps.
Your dog agrees.
And brown beans, things like that, you can do the same way. When I get all of that home, anything that might have critters. Oh my goodness, sorry, my dog. Anything that might have critters in it, I pop it in the freezer. I just put it in there for about 5 days.
5 days?
Yeah, some people do 3. I do 5, and then you, like she said, pull it out, let it kind of dry out because it can kind of pull in some moisture from the freezer, and then just let it dry out and then bag it up. Also, I wanted to show y'all, I don't this app. Nope, it's not going to show. It's called Ibotta, Ibotta. If you have a smartphone, you can go on there, download it. Like it'll have different coupons that'll pull up, and they're basically instant coupons. All you have to do is go buy your groceries. When you get home, go check on Ibotta, enable the items that you bought, and it might give you a little recipe or something you have to look at, and then it'll enable that coupon. And then you just scan the barcode and scan the receipt, and it gives you money. I mean, I get probably $40 every 6 months, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up.
Yes.
Much more preps that I can purchase. And it has it even for online shopping. If you go through their link, it's kind of like Ebates. You can go through their link and get instant savings that way as well. So you can get it in different. You can get reimbursed through PayPal, or you can do something which I don't like to give my PayPal out, so I just get like a Walmart gift card. Several different ways that you can do that. So works out great. But ways to acquire food now and when the end of the world comes, I guess, would be foraging, hunting,
Growing
right?
it.
And growing your own food, but you need to have the seeds to do that. So they need to be non-GMO. They need to be heirloom, so that they will grow and take the seeds then from that harvest and regrow for the following year. So you need to learn how to put your seeds up, germinate whenever you're ready to use them.
There's also scavenging and bartering,
Scavenging, bartering, things like that. But for heaven's sake, I saw this one guy. He doesn't even have a cat, okay, but he stocked up on like 100 cat food or 100 cases of cat food. I don't know. It's on one of those prepping shows, and he don't even have a cat. He thought, well, this will be something that'll be worth having, if the poo-poo hits the fan. Well,
he's probably right.
But why don't you just stock up instead of expecting to eat canned cat food or canned dog food? Why don't you just stock up on canned meat that's for human consumption?
I wouldn't panic by cat food, but I might panic by tampons or something, because that'll be feminine hygiene items will be really in demand if all the stores are out.
And there are people that make reusable pads. And this will be a subject that maybe we can get into next week or the week after. But, there's things that can be done for personal hygiene that are reusable and washable that you have.
We live in a throwaway culture, and people aren't used to that stuff. So I'm just saying it would be a great barter item.
Rain Rain Country Homestead has a video on that, making ladies sanitary napkins.
And let me tell you, it's not just for sanitary napkins for women that have issues, but they're great bandage covers as well. Like it's a reusable bandage. You have to sterilize it, but you have reusable bandages there. You can make them that way. So bladder issues, things like that, all kinds of uses. But we'll get into that next time, because that's dealing with that. But I wanted to say welcome to Finger Lakes Prepper, Mindy Patriot Angel, Prepper Madness. Who else was out there? Lee Ralph, Mountain Man 1478, Faith Abounds at Melody Acres. And Jared Walsh already. Kojo was out there. Had to get him straight on his mouth. I don't mind a little risque stuff, but I just don't want it to be mouth, because I do have some friends that come in that want to make sure and be very respectful of. Want them to feel comfortable coming to my chat. So.
Yeah, I think I only used 2 bad words tonight, so I think I'm doing okay.
You used the epic bad one, yeah.
I have to start putting a delay so I can bleep you out.
Oh. Bleep, bleep, bleep.
See, Kojo is our bad boy friend. He's our bad boy buddy.
And Mom Salayer's out there. I got to make sure and say hi to her. I don't want to miss her.
We love the moms.
Yes, love the moms. She's my girl. Okay, well, I want to thank everybody for coming. Any final words? Check out the links in the description box below for all of the panel that came on tonight. Their channel links are in there, except for Squib. I'll have to add his after. I'll do it after I get done with this crawfish boil. Sorry, Squib. And then, and you guys can check that out. And
I don't have a channel. I just weasel into other people's chats.
Oh, I see how you are. Well, then that may explain why I didn't put the link in there.
And you forgot Jason McDaniel, and you hurt his feelings.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, Jason. I'm sorry. I love you, man. With that pantry inventory sheet, again, go to scatteredsquirrel.com. Both S's are capitalized on that. Scatteredsquirrel.com to get that, and then you can always black out or white out the name pantry inventory and put whatever ammo inventory or whatever you want to put. But
the only thing I wanted to add was, every time I'm at Walmart, I pick up some Mountain House and some kind of protein bars or some kind, breakfast bars that are like 5 whole grains and, and Campbell's Chunky Soup. And, like if I pick up 1 or 2 Mountain Houses every time I go to Walmart, and I have to go there once a month anyway to pick up, my meds. So, after over a long time, it adds up, I may not have, number 10 cans, but I got tons of individually packaged Mountain House stuff that's good for another 20 years, I think. So, and the individual sizes are pretty cool because, you can pack them a lot easier than number 10 cans if you have to bug out. But, and also, I also bought, sometimes I buy stuff off Amazon, like I saw an ad once or somebody did some video for tack bars. So I bought some of those, threw them in the class. That's one of those buy things, throw it in the closet and forget about it. That you say, I'll never do that, but I do that. So so I guess I'm bad, but it's. But I generally buy stuff that I reuse. I do take out my knives and play with them, and my guns and play with them. And I do cycle the foods. I don't like buying stuff that I don't think I will eat.
Well, and everybody does need to remember that you don't want to go and buy a bunch of stuff you're never going to eat. You don't want to do that. Now, I do have my long-term storage stuff. There's stuff in there I haven't tried yet, but that's what in there and try it.
If there's a 25-year shelf life, there's no rush. I mean,
right, exactly. But the things I stock my pantry and freezer and refrigerator with, all of that stuff is stuff that we will use. I'm not going to buy stuff just because it's on sale that we will never eat.
And sometimes you're not prepping for the zombie apocalypse, but the next ice storm where you can't get out your driveway for 7 days.
Exactly.
Or, like us with, in October 2015, South Carolina had the aquapocalypse where there was 24 inches of rain. I live in the low country. Columbia had 6 feet of flooding. It all washed down to us. I could not have left my driveway for 14 days. We didn't miss a lick, even made cookies. You know what I mean? With chocolate chips and cocoa and everything else. So just think of what you're preparing for in your everyday life of events that happen in your area.
Exactly. And for us, it would be tornado. It would be wildfire. It would be ice storm. We had 2 ice storms, pretty major ones, within a few weeks apart. Ago, and we were out of electric a total between those 2 of about 15-20 days at least. So we live out the so they get the towns taken care of first and then us.
We've got hurricanes. We've got hurricanes, and North Korea keeps threatening to nuke Hawaii. So
yeah, you kind of have to worry about that. We have time for today, guys. Join the conversation. Share your tips and stuff in the comments below this video. Sub up my good friends here and help them out, and check out their channels. And we will see you back here next Thursday, 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
Get busy prepping, people.
Real quick, before we go, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for having to bail out a couple of times.
Oh, we understand that.
But
we understand.
I got a book. It's called "Oh My God, the Power Went Off," and this is by a fellow prepper, and she has about 15 pages of a list of about everything you need in a bug-out bag for long-term storage, for bugging in, cooking, all kinds of stuff. And I will take pictures of these pages and I will post them on my Facebook. My Facebook page, I just typed the link in the chat, so check it out once we get off there, or once we get off here, and I will have it posted in about 10 minutes.
Excellent.
So,
and guys, like Jason McDaniel reminded me, don't forget your homework. Be working on this week, whether it's physically prepping your own body or acquiring preps or working on something to improve on what you already have. So thanks for coming by. We love you. God bless. and we will see you next week.